Here we go. All right, so welcome everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm Sarah and this is yoga. So we are talking about doshas today, and specifically we're going to do a practice that is for calming folks that have Pitta Dosha. So kind of quickly, briefly, what is, so doshas are kind of our constitution, like just kind of traits and things about us. And it kind of falls under Ayurveda, which is, and I'll kind of give you a brief overview. So Ayurveda means the science of life, which can also be called yogic medicine. Ayurveda uses diet, herbs, bodywork, pranayama, and meditation as part of a holistic system of healing that parallels the practice of yoga relative to body, mind, and spirit. Yoga and Ayurveda are sister sciences that grew up from the same root in ancient India. They both reflect a dharmic approach to life, a seeking to keep all beings in harmony with the benefic laws of the universe. As yogic healing becomes emphasized, we must naturally turn our gaze to Ayurveda as well. So, talking about Pitta people. So like I said, your dosha is kind of just your constitution and, you know, how you are basically. Okay, so kind of go briefly over what Pitta types are. Actually, let me quickly tell you what a dosha, I'll just read what it says about what a dosha is. So the three doshas are not only general factors responsible for physiological responses, they are specific factors that create the different energetic types of human beings. These doshic types can be easily understood according to their elemental equivalents. Vata types are dominated by air, but have a secondary component of ether as the space, mainly in the bones and joints, which contains Vata in the body. Pitta types are dominated by fire, but have a secondary component of water as the hot liquids like the blood and digestive juices, which hold Pitta. Kapha types are dominated by water, but all have secondary component of earth as the lining of the skin and mucous membranes, which contains it. Okay, so Pitta types. On a physical level, Pitta types are average in height and build. They have good circulation, bright complexion, warm extremities, and a warm and oily skin. Their appetite and thirst is high, and their elimination is good, but usually on the loose side. They suffer most from exposure to heat, sunlight, and fire. On a psychological level, Pittas are aggressive types, dynamic, willful, focused, and determined. They are emotionally pointed and assertive with strong opinions and a tendency towards anger. Relative to yoga practice, Pittas are most attracted to meditation and to working on the mind. They naturally seek enlightenment as the goal of life. They will take up asana practice as a means of developing energy. All right, so with that kind of overview given to you, we're going to begin our asana practice. And the reason I wanted to do Pitta today, because we are in the Pitta season, which is summer. So when it's hot out, we want to kind of cool things down. So this is going to be a gentler practice today. We're going to do a longer meditation at the end. So if you are a Pitta type or you have that as a secondary type, as you move through your practice today, think about moving very mindfully, you know, relaxing, being, you know, very slow and gentle with your movements so that we're not being all competitive Pitta type people. Okay, so it's really about letting go and being in the moment. So we are going to start on our backs today. So we're going to have our knees bent so that our spine can be nice and neutral. You can rest your arms down by your sides if you like. Feet are about hip-width apart. And if you need to kind of wiggle around a little bit on the mat, maybe lift up your hips and release them back down. Move your shoulders, settle in to the earth and feel grounded and connected to the earth. We'll spend some time here just to focus on our breathing. Nice full deep inhales and exhales. And then we're going to bring some small movements to our pelvis. We're going to do a little bit of a pelvic tilt. So what we're going to do is kind of tuck the tailbone, pressing the middle of the back into the floor and just lifting slightly, and then releasing that down. And then changing that tilt so that we're making a big arch through the back. And so there's a lot of space between the mat and our back. So let's move like that, just kind of rocking the pelvis back and forth. So we can synchronize this with the breath, inhaling as we lift the spine up off the mat, and then exhaling as we press it down into the mat and tuck the tailbone under. Let's do one more. And then we'll go ahead and start to lift the hips all the way up into a bridge. So on your next inhale, lift the hips up, and then exhale, release them down. So we'll move with the breath, inhaling to lift, exhaling as we release. Taking a few more. Let's take two more. And last one. And when we're done, we're going to extend the legs long on the mat. We're going to come into a couple different kinds of twists here. So for the first one, we're going to take our right foot and take the heel in between the big toe and the second toe of your left foot. And then we're just going to drop the feet over to the side. Let's take those arms out. And so that your left hip just lifts slightly. So it's a very gentle twist. If you want, you can turn your head and look in the opposite direction of your feet. So look down your left arm. And then we'll release. Go ahead and switch your feet. So just notch that heel into the space between your big toe, and then take the feet over to the other side. And then we'll go ahead and release that. Let's hug the right knee in. Give it a nice squeeze. And then place your right foot on your left thigh, and then take the right knee across the body over to the left. Reach your right arm out and twist. It's a little bit more intensity in this twist, keeping that right shoulder down on the mat. And then releasing that, and we'll switch. Extend your right leg out long. Bring your left knee in. And a nice little squeeze here. And then rest the foot on the thigh. Take your left knee across the body over to the right. Reach your left arm out and twist. And release, hugging both knees into the chest. Take some little rocks from side to side. And circle those knees first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. And then rolling onto one side, just resting the head on the arm. Take a few breaths here. And then use this top hand to press your way up to a seat. And we're going to come into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. So if you want, you can elevate your hips up on a blanket or a towel. I always like to sit up a little bit on something when I'm doing this pose. Bringing the soles of our feet together, holding onto our ankles, sitting up nice and tall, hinging it forward at the hips. Maybe lightly pressing into the knees. So we don't want to force anything. Just let the body release into this hip opener. Relax the shoulders. Releasing that fold. Let's bring those knees together. And then we're going to come into boat pose, Navasana. So grabbing a hold behind the knees, we'll rock back and balance on the sit bones. So you can have those knees bent, you can hold on behind the knees, you can straighten the legs, you can release the legs. So we're just going to hold for a few breaths. Normally we're holding this for about 30 seconds, but we're not going to hold it for that long today. Let's go ahead and release, come back into that Baddha Konasana. Maybe fold a little bit deeper. And release. Let's make our way to all fours for some cat and cows. Bringing our wrists underneath our shoulders, our knees under our hips. Fingers spread wide, patting your knees if you need to with a blanket or a towel. Inhaling, dipping the belly down and looking up into cow. Exhaling, arching the spine, tucking the chin, the pelvis under into cow. So moving with breath, inhaling and exhaling. Just gently warming up the spine. Take a few more. Yeah, let's take one more in each direction. And then we'll come back to a neutral spine. And then if you want, you can walk back on your mat a little bit. We're going to come into puppy pose. So puppy is kind of like a cross between your downward dog and your child's pose. So unlike child's pose, we're going to keep our hips right above our knees, but we are going to walk our hands out, which is why I had you kind of step back a little bit. So hands reach out to the front of the mat, hands are shoulder width apart, fingers spread wide, and then we'll drop the head between the arms. You can have your elbows lifted or you can release them down if this is a little bit too much. And then we'll lift the head, looking forward, lowering the elbows to the mat. We're going to slide the chest through the arms to come into Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx, we want to have our shoulders stacked directly over our elbows. Palms are down, relaxing the glutes in the lower body. Let's pull slightly back with those forearms as we lift up and out of the shoulders. Opening the heart. Breathing into it. And then releasing the chest down, your hands underneath your shoulders, and go ahead and press back into your child's pose. So any version of this child's pose is fine. You can extend the arms out, or you can stack your hands or fists and rest the forehead on them. Or you can bring your hands back by your feet with your palms facing up. Your knees can be together. You can separate them, whatever feels best for you and your hips today. So as I mentioned, this isn't going to be a very vigorous practice. However, if you do find yourself feeling like you need to take a break, or you feel overheated in the practice, please feel free to rest in your child's pose, or you can do puppy pose instead if that feels better. Anytime you need to take that break, feel free. So you can stay here, or if you're ready, make your way into a downward facing dog, planting the hands at the front of the mat, shoulder width apart, fingers spread wide. We'll come forward into the toes, lifting the hips up and back, coming into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So maybe making some movements here, maybe pedaling out the feet, or shaking your head out, or taking one leg and a dog at a time. Whatever feels right to you. And you don't have to move this pose if you don't want to. If you'd rather just be still, enjoying this head to toe stretch all the way from your fingertips up through your arms, through the back and the hips, down through the hamstrings, the calves, the feet. Finally finding that place of stillness if we're still in movement. Tucking the chin and looking back between the legs. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll look up at the hands and just walk our feet up to the hands. Coming into a forward fold. Feet are hip width apart. We'll soften knees, grab opposite elbows. Just letting that upper body hang. Shaking the head out from side to side. Taking it front to back, swaying the torso from side to side. Coming back to center, releasing the elbows, placing hands on shins or thighs, extend the spine forward. Take a few deep breaths here. On your next exhale, fold. Soften the knees, inhale, reverse swan back, come all the way up. Exhaling as we bring the hands to the heart. And take a few deep breaths here. All right, we're going to take a nice big step out to the side. I'm going to take off a layer for this. So we're going to do our moonflowers and sunflowers. And then we're going to move right from that into our moon salutation. Okay, so I happen to have 2 blocks. I like to use my blocks for my half moon balance when we're doing the moon salutation. If you happen to have 2 blocks and you want to grab them and set them up at either end of your mat, or if you only have one, you can transfer it from side to side if you wind up doing the half moon. And I will give you an alternative to half moon if you don't want to do that. But we are going to start with those moonflowers and sunflowers first. Inhaling, reaching to the corners of the room. Exhaling, bending the knees, bringing the elbows into the sides, and inhale, reach up and out. Exhaling as we bend. Couple more, inhale and exhale. One more and exhale. So you can stay with the moonflowers. If you're ready to transition into sunflowers, inhale, reach the arms all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, bend the knees, circle the arms down and around as we fold. Inhale brings us back up. Exhaling as we fold. Moving through space. Take a couple more. And last one. We'll come back up. Bring the hands to the heart, bend the knees, sink the hips. Coming into our prayer squat. The shoulders stack over the hips, knees in line with the toes. And release. Let's inhale it up. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. And we're going to prepare for our moon salutation. I think most of you have done this before. If you haven't, at a certain point, you will be facing the front and the back of your mat. Listen to my cues. If you get lost, don't worry about it. You can always just rest in child's pose, wait till we're done, or you can just go back to doing moonflowers and sunflowers if you'd like to do that instead. Okay? All right, so it's going to start with one moonflower. Inhale, reach the corners. Exhale, bend knees, bring the elbows into the sides. Inhale, reach up and out. Turn towards the front of your mat. And then you're going to bend your front knee, sink the hips, coming into a high lunge. Straightening out that front leg, dropping the back heel, folding over that front leg into pyramid. So both hands reach down for the leg or your block. All right, so you have a choice. You can either come into pyramid if you're not down with half moon today. You'd rather keep both feet on the floor. Triangle is your choice. Or come into that half moon. So I'm going to put my hand on my block out in front of that front foot. Or you can just place it on the mat. And then lift the back leg up. That top arm can rest on your side or you can reach up to the sky. That top leg is really active and strong. The standing leg has a little softness to the knee. And then we're going to step it back wide. Hands come to the heart, prayer squat. Inhale, reach to the corners. Exhale, moonflower. Inhale, reach, turn to the back of your mat. Come into that high lunge, bend that front knee, sink the hips down. Straighten out that front leg, drop the back heel, fold over that front leg, pyramid. Inhale either into your triangle or come into your Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Exhale, hold here. One more inhale. Exhale, step wide, hands to the heart, sink the hips, prayer squat. Inhale, reach to the corners. Exhale, moonflower. Inhale, reach, turn towards the front of the mat. Sink the hips down as you bend that front knee, high lunge. Inhale, straighten the front leg, drop the back heel. Exhale, fold, pyramid. Inhale, half moon or triangle. Exhale, hold here. One more inhale. Exhale, step it wide. Hands to the heart, prayer squat. And inhale, reach. Exhale, moonflower. Inhale, reach. Turn to the back of your mat. Bend that front knee, sink the hips, high lunge. Inhale, straighten the front leg, drop the back heel. Exhale, fold, pyramid. Inhale, half moon or Pitta Trikonasana, triangle. Exhale, hold here. One more inhale. Exhale, step it wide, hands to the heart. Prayer squat. We're going to do one more on either side. Inhale, reach in the corners. Exhale, moonflower. Inhale, reach. Turn to the front. Bend that front knee. Sink the hips. High lunge. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Drop the back heel. Exhale, fold. Pyramid. Inhale, half moon or triangle. Exhale, hold here. One more inhale. Exhale, step it wide, prayer squat. All right, once more to the back of your mat. Inhale, reach to the corners. Exhale, moonflower. Inhale, reach, turn to the back of the mat. Bend that front knee, sink the hips, high lunge. Inhale, straighten the front leg, drop the back heel. Exhale, fold, pyramid. Inhale, half moon or triangle. Exhale, hold here. One more inhale. Exhale, step it wide, prayer squat. And inhale it up. Exhale, step the feet together at the top of your mat. Bring the hands to the heart. Take a few breaths here. Take some open mouth exhales. Let any of the heat, excess heat in your body, be released out of your mouth. You can make an audible sigh if you want. Letting it go. One more. All right, I'm just going to move my blocks off of my mat now, before we get into our standing poses. Let's inhale, reach it up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold with soft knees. Stepping the right foot back. We're going to spin that foot out up to 90 degrees, and we're going to come up into warrior two. So reaching the arms out. You could also rest the hands at the heart. If your arms are extended out, relax your shoulders. Shoulders are stacked over your hips. Looking down at your left knee, making sure that knee is pointing straight over the left foot. So it shouldn't be pointing towards the right corner of your mat. Breathing here. Go ahead and straighten out the left leg. We're going to shift the hips towards the back as we reach forward with the left hand, and then drop that hand down, coming into Utthita Trikonasana triangle. So your left hand can rest on the leg, either on the thigh or the shin, please not on your knee joint. You can bring in the block, or you can take that hand all the way down to the mat. The right arm can extend up, or if you like, rest it on your side or bring it behind the back. Try to open the shoulders and the chest so that we're not collapsing them down towards the earth. Reaching the right ribs up toward the sky. And then using our strong cores, we're going to stand it up. Releasing hands to the hips, turning our left foot so it's parallel to the right. You could also be slightly pigeon-toed if this kind of bothers your ankles. With the hands on hips, we're going to inhale to lengthen the spine, opening the heart. Exhaling as we fold. Reaching the hands down to the mat. So once you're down, if you need to adjust your feet, maybe make them a little bit wider, you can also bend your knees if you'd like. And then let's walk the hands out so that our weight starts to come into the front of our feet. The heels feel lighter. The spine is nice and long. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen your fold. Maybe walk your hands back towards the feet. Maybe walk them all the way through. Maybe bring the top of your head down to a block or the mat. Maybe it just hangs in space. And then let's walk the hands back out to where they were when we did that first little walk out. And then we'll bring our left hand directly underneath the face. The right arm's going to reach up for a twist. So just let this twist happen. Don't force anything. Breathe. And then release the right hand down. Walk the hands around in front of the mat. And let's just step back into down dog. Maybe lower your knees and take a child's pose. I'm going to spin myself around so I don't have my back to you guys for the other side. From your downward dog, we'll step that right foot up by the hands. Turning that left foot out up to 90 degrees. Come on up, warrior two. Reach the arms out or rest the hands at the heart. Check all your little joints here. Knee, shoulders, hips. Everything is where it needs to be. So yoga, the word yoga means yoke or union. So it kind of can refer to a lot of things. So, you know, the body and the mind, effort and ease. Go ahead and straighten out that right leg, shifting the hips to the back so you reach it forward. Drop that right hand down into your triangle. Again, rest the hand on the leg, on a block, or on the mat. Left arm can reach up, or we can rest it on the side or bring it behind the back. And then using our nice strong core, we're going to stand it up. Bring hands to the hips. Turn this right foot in so it's parallel with the left. We'll take a chest expansion with this prasarita. So clasp the hands together behind the back. Inhaling as we open the heart. Exhaling as we fold. And again, adjusting the feet as needed, maybe bending your knees. As you start to release your hands away from your back, at the same time, think about lifting your shoulders up away from your ears, creating length and space for the neck. Releasing hands down to the mat, pressing the hands in the mat, lifting the head, and then walking the hands out so that, again, our weight comes into the front of the feet. We'll do the twist on the other side. Right hand comes underneath the face. Left arm reaches up, twisting. And release that hand down. Let's walk the hands around to the front of the mat. Step that foot back into downward dog or child's pose. And then we'll make our way into forward fold. And let's slowly roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Bring that head up last. Bring the shoulders up, back and down. Standing nice and tall in Tadasana. So we're going to do tree for our standing balance today. So I'm going to balance on my right foot to start, okay? And if you have an area of your space that is not carpeted and you'd like to do your balance there, or if you want to move closer to a wall or even a piece of furniture, this dresser makes a really good thing to catch myself on if I'm feeling a little wobbly with my balance. So you want that nearby. Feel free to move around your space. Feet come hip width apart and parallel. Toes are spread and relaxed. Bringing the hands into the heart. Engaging the core, lifting the pelvic floor. Finding a focal point, shifting the weight onto that right foot. Taking the left heel up to the side of the ankle. Keeping our right knee a little bit soft. And then staying in nice kickstand or sliding the foot up to the side of the shin. Or maybe bringing it up into the inner thigh. Leaving your hands at your heart or reaching the arms up. And keep your palms together, open the arms. Creating branches for a tree. Maybe taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. Creating a little bit of a heart opener here. And then we'll bring the hands back to the heart and release that left foot down to the mat. Rolling out your right ankle, couple turns in each direction. Reset for the other side. Creating that nice stable foundation. Bringing hands to the heart. Engaging the rest of our bandhas. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha. Shifting the weight onto the left foot. Take the right heel up to the side of the ankle. Keep your left knee soft. Stay there or slide that foot up to the side of the shin or up into the inner thigh. Leaving the hands of the heart or growing your branches, reaching your arms up. Maybe opening the arms, relax your shoulders if you lift the arms. Maybe take your gaze up towards your ceiling, opening the heart. And then releasing the hands back to heart center. Releasing that right foot down, roll out your left ankle. And if you left your mat, go ahead and come back up to the top of the mat. Inhaling, reaching the arms up. Exhaling, swan dive down, forward fold with soft knees, stepping the feet back one at a time. Coming into downward facing dog, and then we'll lower the knees and come into a full child's pose. So bring your hands back by your feet, flip your palms up, release the forehead to the mat, relax your shoulders. Clasping the hands together behind the back. Let's lift the hips up, rolling to the top of the head for Yoga Mudra. And then start to move your hands away from your back. And just like in our Prasarita, lift your shoulders up away from your ears. Creating length and space. And release back into your full child's pose. We'll go ahead and sit up. Taking the legs around to the front. Coming into staff pose, Navasana, extending the legs out long. Maybe moving some of the flesh out from underneath your sit bones. If you happen to have a blanket and you want to sit on the edge of your blanket, feel free. If you have a strap and you want to use it for your seated forward fold, go ahead and make sure it is within reach. Flexing the feet, let's inhale to lengthen the spine, reaching the arms up. Exhaling as we fold, hinging from the hips. So reaching for your feet or using that strap or grabbing anywhere along the legs that you can reach. Let's inhale, lengthen the spine a little bit more. Exhale, deepen the fold. So surrendering into this fold. Use the breath to sink a little deeper on the exhales. And we'll release. If you're using the strap, you can leave it wrapped around the bottom of your left foot and just kind of pull your right foot out of it. We're going to bend the right knee and let that knee open out to the right side for Janu Shirshasana. You can prop underneath the knee if you want to. Placing one hand on either side of the left leg, turning the chest to face the leg, inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold, reaching for your foot or that strap or anywhere along the leg. If you want, take a cross grip with your hands, reaching for the outside of the foot or leg with your right hand and step side with your left. And again, surrender into this fold. So Pitta people, forward folds are a good thing for you, along with gentle twists and heart openers. So that's why we've done mainly that stuff today. And hip openers too. And we'll release. Coming up, bringing that right knee up. Step that foot up and over to the outside of your left thigh. You can leave your left leg straight, or you can bend it underneath you and sit back down, hugging the knee with the left arm. The right arm comes behind us, and we twist. Again, very gentle moving into these twisting poses. So nothing is forced. We're not wrenching ourselves into this twist. If you want, you can bring your elbow past the knee or work on the bind if you want to do that today. Releasing that twist, extending the right leg out long, bending the left knee, letting that knee open out to the left side, propping as needed, setting up your strap if you want, placing one hand on either side of the right leg, turning the chest to face the leg, inhale to lengthen, exhale to fold, reaching for the foot, the strap, or anywhere along the leg you can reach. And I think I have to let a critter out because she is scratching at the door. Would you like to leave? Okay. And go ahead and release. Coming up, bring that left knee up. Step that foot up and over to the outside of your right thigh. Leave your right leg straight or bend it underneath you and sit back down. Hugging the knee with the right arm. The left arm comes behind us and we twist again. Nice and gentle with this twist. Hug the knee or bring the elbow past the knee or bind if you want to. And we'll release. Let's go ahead and take the legs out wide. We'll do one more fold here. So we're going to do a straddle fold. If tortoise is in your practice and you want to do tortoise today, you can do tortoise instead. And tortoise is just kind of a more extreme version of the straddle fold. Just you're sliding your arms underneath your legs. Okay. Otherwise, we'll just lengthen the spine up and fold, walking the hands out. Keep your chest open, hinging from the hips. You can grab onto your ankles if you want to. And we'll release. All right, so I'm going to give you a few options for an inversion today. So if you have a block, you can do your supported bridge. So that looks like this. You come onto your back, knees are bent, and then you'll just lift your hips up and rest your booty on the block. Really nice, gentle inversion. If you are able to get to a wall and you want to do legs up the wall, you can do legs up the wall. I don't really have a good space. I could do it there, but it would be hard for me to get in and out because of the dresser and the wall. So if you do have a wall and you want to do legs up the wall, you can do that. Your other option is you can do plow if you want, not plow, shoulder stand if you want to do shoulder stand. If you want to do shoulder stand though, first of all, if you have any neck issues, probably shoulder stand is not for you. And you can do legs up the wall without having a wall. You can just take your legs straight up into the air, okay, and do that. If you have a block, you can put the block underneath you as well. If you're going to do shoulder stand, tuck your shoulders under first, and then rock your hips up into your hands and take your legs up towards the ceiling. So you're trying to create a straight line from toes down to your shoulders. It's a fairly active pose, so if it feels like this is a little bit too much, you can always settle into a half shoulder stand, which is a little less active, or you can bring the feet overhead and come into plow. So any of the shoulder stands if you want to. I'm going to release and come into my supported bridge, because that's my favorite of all the ones I just talked about. This is one of my favorite poses, bar none. It just feels really good for my back. So once you're in your chosen inversion, breathe, especially if you're in that shoulder stand or plow. Make sure you're breathing. And here's a hint, if you get into that pose and you can't breathe, guess what? You need to release out of that pose. And then we'll go ahead and release. And we're all going to do fish, just because those of us that did shoulder stand, half shoulder stand, or plow need to do fish, and fish is another great gentle heart opener. So you can either have your knees bent with the soles of your feet together, sort of in a lying down Baddha Konasana, or if you're able to put your feet into lotus while you're lying down, be my guest. I can't do that. The other option, and this is my favorite, is just to have your legs straight. Hands come down next to your hips. We're going to rock from side to side and slide our forearms underneath us one at a time so that we're basically laying on them. Palms are down. Coming up to the elbows, looking at the toes, and then lifting the heart up toward the sky. Releasing either the back of the head or the top of the head, or in my case, the top of my bun to the mat. Very little weight is on my bun here, like almost none. You could probably slide a piece of paper underneath me. And then we'll release, bring the head up, tuck the chin, come all the way down onto the back, hug the knees in. Little rocks from side to side. And circle those knees. And switch directions. We'll come back to center, take arms out to a T, palms up or down, and then we'll drop both knees over to the right side for another twist, one more twist. Keeping both shoulders down, maybe turning the head to look down your left arm. And release and switch sides. And release. Hugging the knees into the chest. Bringing your forehead up to meet the knees. Squeeze everything nice and tight. And then release it all down. So, Pitta people need longer Savasanas. So, we are going to do a longer one. I have not timed this one out. I think it's going to be about 10 minutes, the script that I printed out. So it is a moon meditation. Since we did the moon salutation, I figured that one would be appropriate. And you know, one of the things they say that is good for Pitta people is walking in the moonlight. So other things that are good for Pitta folks: swimming, standing in the ocean. Unfortunately, I don't have an ocean here, or near lakes, streams, ponds, or fountains, basically being by water. Being out in the fresh air, looking at greenery, plants, flowers, foods that are good for Pitta folks: sweet, bitter, and astringent foods. So spicy, not great for Pitta folks, even though a lot of us really like spicy food. Rice, whole grains, and salads. Scents that are good for Pitta folks: rose, jasmine, ylang ylang. I don't know if I'm ever saying that right. As well as sandalwood and lavender. And then coconut in every incarnation except for sweetened. So coconut water, coconut milk, coconut oil, all coconut is very cooling for Pitta people. So getting yourself set for Shavasana. Like I said, it'll be a little longer. If you don't want to stay, you can just exit the class right now. That's fine. Just making yourself completely comfortable. I do recommend that you lie down for this rather than be seated or in another position, just because we really want to be in the most comfortable position that we can be for our meditation. All right, close your eyes and take a few slow and deep breaths in and out. Become aware, yet comfortable with the space around you. Become aware of your entire body. Feel your body weight on the floor. Feel the position of your arms and legs as they rest. Be in the moment and let go. Continue to inhale and exhale slowly, relaxing your face and jaw. Let your muscles relax and let go of all the worries and to-do tasks that have been done and remain to be done. Just be in the present and place your trust in the glowing light and powerful energy emanated by the moon. As you become aware of each body part, look for specific areas of tension or pain that you may experience. Just observe them and keep breathing. Imagine a powerful white and silver beam shining down on your body. Allow your entire being to get soaked up in the pure and serene energy of this loving light. Start thinking of what you want to let go of in life. Let those thoughts stay in your mind for a moment. You can also imagine them in the form of a color or object floating before you. Now say this in your mind. I release you under the light of the moon. I no longer need what does not serve or empower me. While you say this, imagine all the undesirable things, habits, people, behaviors, and thought patterns disappearing in the powerful light of the moon. Now say this in your mind. I release this unworthiness. I release this doubt. I release this fear and anger. I release resentment. I release judgment. I release envy and comparisons. I release relationships that do not serve me. I release toxic people and situations. Imagine each of these things getting released from your life and being absorbed by the moonlight and its powerful, deep cleansing potential. Feel light and relaxed as you let go. And we'll start to wiggle fingers and toes. Circling ankles and wrists. And reaching arms up overhead, stretch. And release. And either rolling to one side or hugging knees into the chest. Taking a few deep breaths as you prepare to come up to seated. And when you're ready, making your way into any comfortable seat you choose to finish your practice today. Sitting up nice and tall and dropping the chin to the chest. Taking the right ear towards the right shoulder. And left ear to left shoulder. Bringing the head up, taking the hands behind the head, looking all the way up. And release. Taking 3 deep breaths, inhaling arms up. And exhaling them down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. One more time, inhaling it up. Bringing the hands together, heart center as we exhale. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.